Let's move on now to For Real in Royal Oak. And For Real says, I am a real estate agent with a home under contract. I think I can actually do better if I were to wholesale the house. Can I do this without telling my seller? If not, can it be done if I put some extra money into the deal? From For Real in Royal Oak.
Well, I now understand why the law clerk put For Real.
Yes.
Because if the answer here, just flat out no. Whatever you're asking, no.
Nope.
Blair and I actually were talking about this question when you were reading through it.
Yep.
This question not only circulated on the Michigan Real Estate Investor Network Facebook site, but what's bizarre about it is it came through to us probably within a day after through another channel or another platform. It was sent to us directly.
Yes. Yep. So before we hit record, I commented to David, what a coincidence. I've seen this question all over the internet the last couple of days, and
Right.
David's comment was, well, it's the same question.
Same question.
Hot button topic.
Right. And so just for anybody who is a real estate agent who's watching, you know, and actually the public, you have the real estate agents actually have a fiduciary duty, which basically means their first obligation is to their seller. And if you have a real estate license that you worked hard to, your 40-hour classroom work that you did to get your license here in Michigan, it's 40 hours. I'm not sure what it is elsewhere. I hear in like California, a friend of mine I just talked to, she's a realtor out there. It's much more extensive work to get your license. But whatever it is, one of the things, if you didn't learn about having a fiduciary responsibility to your seller, then you need to go back and take that coursework over again.
Right.
All right. And you have an obligation, just like a financial advisor would have an obligation to their client, like I have an obligation to my clients. You have a legal responsibility to make your seller aware of whatever offer comes through. Now, here's the thing. It's really in the interest of full disclosure. If the transaction is not moving forward, or there's some difficulty there, and gosh knows there's a host of reasons why there could be a problem. We're not going to go through them now, but whatever it is, if this real estate agent went to their seller and said, this is what I think I can do, but I'm going to pay you X, and you'd have to do be as transparent as possible.
Yes.
If the seller said, yeah, I'll go right ahead, I just want to get rid of the property, well, that might be a different story. I actually would stay away from that transaction regardless, okay? Because during the time frame, even if you had a seller who thought, oh yeah, maybe I will do that now that you disclosed, well, there'll always be an issue later on down the road where the seller has like some type of remorse, and then we'll come back at the agent and say you didn't do this or you failed to do that. I actually would walk away from that transaction, and I wouldn't look back. Either you sell it at a fair market price to a third party, with full disclosures, or you don't. But do not take advantage. You're taking advantage of your seller otherwise, and you'll lose your license.
What I hear and what I speculate. So when I mean what I hear is like what I gather from this question. Is the amount of money, and then I'm totally just speculating, but the amount of money that the seller has proposed that they sell the property for, the realtor, due to COVID, understands that sale prices have been inflated recently, and it's a bit of a false bubble in some areas, in my own opinion, and just based on my own observation. But anyway, what I gather from this question is the seller believes the property is worth X based on perhaps pre-COVID sale prices, and the real estate agent, being a little more savvy, is seeing all of these properties fly off the shelves per se for a bit of an overinflated price, and thinks, well, if my seller wants 100,000, but I know this property could sell for 115, and my 3% commission is only going to be 3,000, why don't I just go ahead and go for that 115? What's the big deal? My seller's still going to get the 100,000 that they want. So like I said, I'm completely speculating on this, but I think the temptation due to COVID is there right now for a lot of realtors who are going to get that 3%, but they see there could potentially be more meat on the bone, even if right now it's just a bit of a bubble, you know, due to COVID is the best way to put that. But that's just me speculating, wondering. When I first saw this question circulating, I was like, that's just kind of what I thought. Maybe they thought they could just get a little more bang for their buck right now.
Well, the question becomes, and you know, definitely, I mean, you're an experienced investor, and you see it. You have your own movie. You know, you see things from your perspective.
Yes. Yep.
And I see it from a legal perspective. But I can share with you that it's a fleeting $10,000 bump.
Sure.
Okay, right? Are you going to, if you have to ask yourself that you want to sacrifice a livelihood or a license to a livelihood for $10,000?
Yeah, and that's another thing that went through my head is there's only so much more you could potentially make. You're already going to make a commission. There's really not much more you could make. It's very short-sighted.
Very, and in fact, so the question that you just made, a part of you to make, that we both have seen. I actually have seen and have represented professionals in this area dealing with very similar issues, right? In fact, I'm not going to get into it right now, but I'm really about to file a lawsuit on a commercial transaction where a real estate agent failed to tell their seller that they actually had somebody in the wings, and they wholesaled it themselves.
Okay, wow.
It's almost like, I mean, it does happen. I mean, I don't want to get into it. This is on a commercial basis, and you might think, oh well, geez, nobody's going to know. How would anybody know? Well, people look at paperwork. They have second thoughts. Things happen. I mean, things that just pop up, come out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden you look at the transaction again and you realize something happened. I got taken. And that's what happened with my client.
Wow.
And the value, just to give you an idea, on the one I'm dealing with, is close to $500,000.
Wow.
And it's a commercial deal. It's still the mechanics of wholesaling work the same whether it's
exactly.
I mean, commercial. So yeah, I'd stay away from it.
Yep. Temptation.
Temptation. When in doubt, disclose. But even on those, as transparent as you'll be, there'll always be a problem. So just do the right thing and move on.
All right. Good.
It's a